Minecraft.
Hello everybody and welcome back to the show. I am currently flying over to the Roguelike Dungeon. I'm flying very slowly because this camera doesn't seem to keep up with me. Okay, let's get out of that. Alright, there we go. I'm flying over here to the Roguelike Dungeon. No, I'm not going over here to exact my revenge upon the denizens of the dungeon. At least not yet. No, I'm going over here because I need to get something out of here. So let's head down and find what I want. Okay, so this isn't exactly what I came for, but it'll give me a good opportunity to test that what I want to do is going to work. Remember my bedrock pickaxe? Well, in addition to being indestructible and also having silk touch as part of its characteristic, it also supposedly has the ability to allow me to pick up monster spawners. At least that's what I believe that I have read on it. So let's try this out and see if it works. Whoa! Okay, I was not expecting that to happen. Holy moly, that scared the bejeebies out of me. Alright, all you guys got to die. What is... There might be an Infernal Mod in there causing explosions, or it could be something else. Woo! Holy moly. Okay. That made me jump out of my skin. Oh my goodness. Okay, the dungeon is on fire. There's still zombies here. Holy crowley. Well, I did get the monster spawner. I did have a mild heart attack in doing so. Holy jeebies. Okay, I'm still trying to calm down here. Yeah, okay. I did not know that was going to happen. So, the bedrock pickaxe allows you to pick up monster spawners. Now, normally you can't do that with a pickaxe. Even with silk touch on a pickaxe, it does not allow you to pick up monster spawners. But again, this bedrock pickaxe, it is one of the special characteristics of the bedrock pickaxe. You can see that my armor is doing well to keep me protected. I don't usually have much to fear from mobs. However, some of the infernal mobs will still be powerful enough to cause me some problems if I'm not careful. And I feel like I've been afflicted with blindness. There we go. Okay. Ooh, here we go. All right. And of course, my sword is really powerful, which is good. Keeps me from having too many problems on that level as well. Okay. Yes, you are the one that probably caused me some problems earlier. There we go. Okay, so this is what I really want, is a skeleton spawner. I'm really afraid now that when I harvest this guy, it's going to do that again. So let's see what happens. Yep. Oh, yeah. So it must be a thing about the bedrock pickaxe that even though it does allow you to pick up spawners, it's going to essentially punish you by generating all of these monsters at the time that you harvest it. And of course we get a bad guy there. Alright. Looks like I survived it. Little bit of a pincushion effect there from all these arrows. And skeleton spawner. Excellent. I've built here a monster, a zombie spawner farm, and it works, sort of. It does actually work in the sense that it does what it was designed to do. I'm gonna go ahead and break this. What we have here is, this here is called a spawner controller. Ignore the flickeringness there. Fix that real quick. For some reason there seems to be an interesting thing there with that. But anyway, This spawner controller, I can completely disable the spawner, and so this spawner will never spawn anything because it's disabled. I can also set it to, as you can see here, the operation time of 2 seconds would be the fastest. So the spawner would spawn every 2 seconds. If I manipulate some of the power output here, I can actually get that down to 0.05 seconds, or basically 20 times per second that it would spawn. And doing that just creates a huge number of monsters. It's actually kind of cool in a way. The lights do have to be off. It has to be dark, just like you would normally need. Apparently, though, you don't have to be actually near the spawner like you would with a normal spawner. As long as it has the spawner controller activating it, you can be far away and it will still spawn the zombies. Down below here, kind of hard to see. Let's go through here, and let me punch a hole through this, like so. Okay, so down here you can see these are all fans, and they're on very high power. So any mob that lands anywhere in this area, i.e. from being spawned from the spawner, they will get blown by the fans up against this wall here. Now you can see there's a fan there, and then that will blow them towards this direction here. So what we have over here, this here is a mob harvester, and pretty much does exactly what it sounds. It damages mobs that are above it. Depending on how much power you give it will determine how much damage it does. And as long as the mob is above it, of course, it will obviously eventually kill it. The great thing about the mob harvester is it kills the mobs as if it were a player, much like some devices from other mods do. So if there are special drops that are only obtainable if you kill a mob by a player, this will qualify for that as well. And this here is something called an item vacuum, and essentially anything that drops in its vicinity gets sucked into the item vacuum. And the item vacuum also, if I can get rid of that overlay, like so, the item vacuum also stores experience points. As you can see here, it's got 840 experience points in it. And if I click the get experience points, I will receive those and up my level. And then I've just hooked that up to the AE network, or my Applied Energistics network, so any items that it does end up getting from the drops that happen when the mobs are killed, they just go straight into the Applied Energistics system. And to kind of show you these fans in operation, they're pretty quick, so this is going to happen fairly quickly, but imagine that I'm a zombie that gets spawned. I fall down here, and I'm not getting blown around. Well, that one's moving me for some reason. I may have the power outputs on these changed. Well, anyway, the idea is these fans, they push the thing up to here. This one pushes them over to the harvester, which kills them, and the item vacuum gets their drops. So as I said, this does work, technically speaking. You may notice if you look at my life bar there that I am down to 6 hearts. I've only got 6 hearts. When I started this episode, I had 7 hearts. I lost a life between the previous episode and the beginning of this episode. Not entirely sure how that happened. I think that the power suit armor overheats if you fly too high, and I think that that is what killed me. But then, after the first part of the video of this episode, I came back, I built this farm, I turned it on to test it. It spawned a ton of zombies, and what I discovered is that even if this wall is completely stone, not see-through or anything, if the mob has special effects like wither or poison or blindness or nausea or anything like that, it will still affect me. Don't know why that is. It's got to be the way the Infernal Mobs mod works, but they still affect me. The additional problem is that the mob harvester back in that corner doesn't do enough damage to instantly kill an infernal mob because they have more hit points. That's a problem if the mob has the ability to teleport. When they take damage, they teleport. So what happens, the mob gets there, it takes damage from the harvester, it teleports out here, and then it can attack me. And because what happened essentially was I got affected by blindness, poison, and wither, and then I was being attacked, and it all overwhelmed me, and that's how I lost my 4th life and brought me down to only having 6 hearts. In a sense, I'm a bit fortunate because if it's theoretically possible that a mob could exist that would have a teleport ability and have the ability to shoot gassed fireballs. So the mob would spawn, it would get over there, take damage, teleport out here, and if I was here, it would try to shoot me with a fireball, and it would probably end up damaging my delicate equipment that I have going on in this area, and I don't want that to happen. So while this mob farm works, and it's basically essentially just a RotaryCraft, I'm using pretty much all RotaryCraft mechanics here to do this, which is what I wanted to do. And while this works, it's just too dangerous to actually have around, especially this close to my equipment. So I'm not going to do this now. The only reason I wanted one for zombies was for the zombie flesh. You can see I've got about 1,300 rotten flesh in the applied Energistics system in my ME network right now. The reason I wanted the rotten flesh is because if I combine rotten flesh with some quicklime, let me go find it here. No, this way. There it goes. Some quicklime, that will actually turn it into leather. And I thought, rather than either establishing a cow farm or having to go out and kill a bunch of cows, nobody's going to care about killing zombies, so kill the zombies, use that and the quicklime to make leather. I'm not using that quicklime for anything else anyway, so why not use that to make all the leather that I need to build belts, which we'll talk about in another episode. Well, we'll see. We'll talk about it some other time. But I do need to build a lot of belts. I need a lot of leather for that, and what better way than using a zombie farm to get flesh. But I cannot leave the zombie farm running, so I am not going to keep this around. I still have the skeleton spawner, and I still need to do something with the skeleton spawner. So I am going to actually set up a new farm with the skeleton spawner. It's going to be different, obviously, than what I... little bit different. It'll be mostly the same, but it'll be a little bit different than what I have here. But when I get that set up, I'm going to do it a little bit farther away, so my precious machinery won't have as much possibility of getting damaged. At least I hope not. But let me fix that up, and then I'll show it to you. In the meantime, when I harvest this zombie spawner, you should see all these zombies get pushed against the wall. Oh! And they're being killed here by the mob harvester. There we go. It didn't quite work out as easily as I had hoped. Some of the zombies ended up on the other side of the walls there, which is not what I had intended. And there you see the zombies getting pushed into the harvester and killed. So anyway, that is the idea of how things are supposed to work. If you didn't have Infernal Mobs installed, this system would work so well. You could ramp up the power, as I said, to have this spawner controller activated and operating 20 times per second. And remember, every time the spawner activates, it's going to spawn 1 to 4 zombies. So if you can imagine 20 times a second, anywhere from 20 to 80 zombies per second spawning and being killed. Not only do your drops go up quicker than anything, but you also would just get Look, in that little bit that I did, I went from 840 XP to 997 XP in the item vacuum. So the drops and everything would just be so crazy. It would be great as a mob farm. But with the Infernal Mobs, it's just way too dangerous. So anyway, enough of that. As I said, I'm going to tear all this apart and rebuild one for the skeletons, but just in a different location. All right. Well, I dug down a little bit. I'm a little bit farther underground away from my base, so hopefully that will help keep things a little bit safer. And I've got the skeleton spawner here, and that is attached to my spawner controller on top. I'll see that in a minute. Other than that, the setup is kind of the same. Fans here. When these are active, they will blow the skeletons this way. Fan here will blow the skeletons this way. I have a piece of netherrack down there that is lit on fire. Here is the item vacuum. That fire is critical to this design. So let's go over here. I can go ahead. Oh, and obviously redstone lamps here, which I can shut off, and hopefully that will cause the room to be dark enough to spawn the monsters. Power is coming in here. This is powering everything through here. The spawner controller is up in here so that I could get in here and do what I need to do to activate it if I want to. So for example, let's go ahead and reattach our power like so, and you can hear that noise. That's all the fans being active. And I can come up in here and I could, for example, disable the spawner controller, and that means that the skeletons won't spawn when the room is dark. Other monsters could spawn in there. Of course, they won't if you're standing close enough, but, you know, how that works. But we're going to go ahead and put that in. You see that the power I'm using gives me the smallest delay I can use is 120 ticks, which is approximately 6 seconds, and I'm okay with that, leaving it at that for now, because I don't want to spawn too many, because I don't want to get overwhelmed by infernal mobs again. So go back down over here, along the side over here. This is my switch which turns on and off the redstone lamps. I've just made myself a space here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn off this redstone lamps, like so, and the skeletons should start to spawn. And actually, I'm going to flip that back on. I realize that it's possible that this does need to have a valid number in it, so let's go ahead and put in 120. So that will tell it to spawn every 6 seconds. Just in case. I'm not sure if that's really necessary, but want to make sure. Alright, so we hit that. That should cause the skeletons to start spawning in 6 seconds. 6 seconds is still a long time, I know, but the mob spawners by default usually only spawn 10 to some number of seconds, 10 or more seconds. So there you can see they're being pushed around, and they're being pushed into this fire netherrack there. And then you can see as they die, the item vacuum is picking up their bones and arrows. And that there is what I've been waiting for. That, my friends, is a wither skeleton. I'm going to go ahead and shut off the spawner. I still need to worry about the spawner spawning an infernal mob. But this is what I was waiting for. A wither skeleton. One of the mods I have installed is called Burning Skellys. And if you remember from my first episode, my complaint about the word Skellys, but whatever. What the Burning Skellys mod does, one simple little thing. If a skeleton dies from burning, if it burns to death, it has a chance of turning into a wither skeleton, as this one here did. The skeleton does have to die by burning, so that can either be done with lava or it can be done with fire, as I'm doing here. The reason I'm not using lava is I had noticed that with lava I had a tendency to lose drops, and I don't want to lose drops at all. Now, of course, the fire or the lava won't affect wither skeletons. They are immune to that. But now what I can do is I can break this glass, and I can hit this guy and kill him. And of course, the reason that I want to do this is that I want wither skeleton skulls. Now, I didn't get a wither skeleton skull at that time, but let's go ahead and flip this off again and let the skeleton start spawning again until I get, hopefully, another wither skeleton. And I'll record this for a little bit to see if it happens within the next few skeletons that die. I'm actually now, some of the drops are coming directly to me instead of going into the item vacuum. It doesn't really matter, and there we have another wither skeleton. I also see that there's an infernal mob in there somewhere, but that's okay. Actually, looks like there's 2 wither skeletons in there, so I'm going to go ahead and attack them like so. Oh yeah, Berserk and Storm want to kill him before he does anything. And that guy turned into one. There you go, looked like there was about 4 of them there. That was good. And there you go. Look at that. I got myself a wither skeleton. So one of those guys did end up dropping a wither skeleton. Now, in order to get wither skeleton skulls, you have to kill the wither skeleton yourself. So I can't... I could use the mob harvester, and that should get me wither skeleton skulls. But then I would have to hook up a system. But I can't use the mob harvester to kill the regular skeletons. They have to die from burning damage. So I'd have to hook up some type of a system that would convert the killing method from burning damage, which is by the fire, to killing via the mob harvester. And honestly, that just sounds like a lot of work that I don't want to go through when this method is going to work pretty good, especially because the mob harvester acts as a player killing the monster, which is great. But if I do it with this looting sword, I have a better chance of getting a wither skeleton skull. So I know you can already tell where this is going. Once I have 3 wither skeleton skulls, I can summon a wither, and that is going to be the next step. So as soon as I get 3 wither skeleton skulls, it's going to be wither fighting time. So a meteor shower occurred. I believe that was the message that showed up in the chat. And this is the result of it. Just a sea of ores that have been just strewn about my island like utter chaos. It just looks horrendous. I like this MeteorCraft mod for what it can do. I do not like this MeteorCraft mod for what it can do. This is just absolutely terrible looking. I'm going to go through and collect up all of these blocks, harvest them all. I'm not going to do it as like a critical thing, but I'm currently gathering materials to prepare my wither farming, not farming, but my wither killing methodology. So while that's all working, I'll be digging up these blocks that are just strewn about my island. I don't know. I just really don't like the way this looks, but oh well, time to get to work. I dragged you outside of the cave and you came back inside. So what happens at this point is all on you. That's right. You better go. Run away. Don't come back inside here. You will regret it. Crazy sheep. So, you want to know what's really, really cool about Blast Glass? Well, as you might expect, Blast Glass is impervious to blasts. Even from ghasts. Blast from... Blast gas... Blast glass, blast gas, blast glass. Boom! Ah, you're still trapped in there. Is that sheep still alive? Oh, he is. And he came back. Are you going to fight the wither for me? Crazy sheep. Okay. I'm a little bit worried because if I get withered, I'm pretty sure I will die. Yeah. Oops, I'm hitting the wrong button here. Oh no, my gun's not working. Whoa! See, if I get withered, I don't have anything to stop myself from withering, and I'll die. And with only 6 hearts, it won't take very long before I die. Oh, I'm a little nervous. Okay, come here. This should work. I think I should be able to hit him without him hitting me. Oh yeah, this is good. This is good. There we go. Boom! 1 dead wither. Give me that star. Dink! Woohoo! Another star! Excellent. Cucumber salad. And a zombie. Yeah, I'll stay away from him for now. The mod is called Soft Hardcore Mod. I believe it's called Soft Hardcore. And it is what's responsible for me being at 6 hearts. As I mentioned at the beginning of the series, every time I die, I lose a heart permanently, which is why I'm down to 6 hearts. Died 4 times, obviously. But what you can do now is you can create, let's see, here we go. You can make this thing called a Heart of Regeneration. And the Heart of Regeneration requires a nether star and 5 gold ingots. It's actually cheaper than I thought it was going to be. Well, I mean, the 5 gold ingots part is cheaper than I thought it was going to be. So let's go ahead and grab out 5 gold ingots. Now, in the configs for this mod, this recipe to create this Heart of Regeneration, it is adjustable. This is the most difficult setting, which requires the nether star. There's an intermediate setting, which I believe requires maybe a block of diamond. And then there's an easier setting, which maybe only requires 1 diamond or something like that. I don't honestly remember. But I need a nether star in order to make this Heart of Regeneration. So once I have the Heart of Regeneration, which is unfortunately uses up the entire nether star, I can right click on it, and when I right click, it will take 10 of my levels and put it into the heart. So as you can see right now, I have 37 levels. I'm going to right click it once, and now I have 27 levels, and this should, it doesn't show anything, but you can see how this bar kind of went up a little bit. Right click it again, it'll take another 10 of my levels. There you go, I'm down to 17. And right click it a third and final time, it will take another 10 of my levels. And then it turns into the red Heart of Regeneration. So it requires 30 levels to go from what we created with the nether star into this. And now if I right click this, I will gain back one of my lost hearts. So if you see in the GUI there, I have 6 hearts, right click this, and now I have 7 hearts. So I just need to do all of that 3 more times in order to get back to my full health, which is what I will be doing for a little bit here, I guess. I've got to be careful somewhat. I've got to, farm the skeletons, which have a chance of becoming infernal mobs, then hoping they turn into wither skeletons, which can also be infernal mobs, using the wither skeleton skulls to summon withers, which can also be infernal mobs. Needless to say, it's somewhat of a dangerous process, but it's what it takes, and so I'm going to keep going at it until I can get myself back up to having 10 hearts and not feeling so vulnerable to things that attack me. Well, here I have my final heart of regeneration that I've made, and I'm going to go ahead and right click it. And now I finally am back up to 10 full hearts of health. And I gotta tell you, that is something of a relief. Just knowing that I have 10 hearts instead of 6 tends to make a huge difference, at least to me anyway. Might not be a big thing because I've got the power armor and stuff, but I just feel a little bit better knowing I have my full health. So there you go, the soft hardcore mod, and that's how you regain your hearts. And just in case you're wondering, go back to the heart thingy. Oop, that's not the way to do it. Soft heart. There you go. You can keep making these and then storing them, and then use them anytime you lose a heart through death. You cannot use them to give yourself more than the 10 hearts that you have by default. So it won't give me 11 hearts or anything like that. But I could make a few and then store them as a backup in case I do die. But for now, that should be all that I need to do with that. So that's it for this episode. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.